The next one is titled Mother-in-law Started Dyeing Hair After Me. She says, long story short, I've always dyed my hair that bright fire truck red, off and on, since high school. I don't use bleach and it will typically fade to a nice bright auburn after some time, so don't care much about grow out. Well, mother-in-law has now decided to dye her hair red using the exact same one I use and never dyed her hair until she knew that I did. I now feel weird about dyeing my hair, a color I've used so many times due to not wanting to look like my mother-in-law. I find this so utterly sad. Like, this is such a terrible mindset to have developed. And I don't know how you ended up at this place where you look at all of the people around you and you're like, oh man, they're copying me. Don't copy me. I don't think that that's great. In general, it's not your business what another person decides to dye their hair, what color they decide to dye their hair. You could look at it from a totally different perspective where you say, hey, isn't it awesome that she thought the color looked so great on me that she wanted to try and do, the comment about how copying is a form of flattery. It's the highest form of flattery even. So maybe imitation, I guess, is the right word. Imitation being the highest form of flattery. Maybe she wants to imitate you because she thinks you look so great, and that's just a completely different perspective to go into this type of experience with, rather than telling yourself, oh my God, she's copying me. I don't want to look like her. Why is she doing this? Why is she trying to take something away from me because this red hair color was mine? That's such a terrible, terrible mindset. If anything, even if it bothers you, you can at least be like, okay, you know what? It doesn't matter what she does. It's her body. She can decide to dye her hair whatever color she wants. It doesn't impact me in any way. I will still look exactly the same as I look with or without the hair color that I want. And I can choose to look in whatever way I feel comfortable with. And that's it. She's just another person. It really doesn't matter. But for whatever reason, there is this kind of competition that people get into with their mother-in-law specifically, as a daughter-in-law. And it seems kind of sad in this kind of context because it's just about dyeing your hair a particular hair color. Like it does not matter. And you'll see the comments. So, let's start with the first one and see how it goes. The first one says, that's the whole reason she's doing it. Don't let it get to you. She's jealous of how good it looks on you. She wants to steal it. Good luck, lady. I don't know why people are so evil. Like there's a certain amount of vitriol that people seem to have towards their mother-in-laws. It's just totally unnecessary. You don't need to take it as jealousy. You truly don't. You can honestly choose to take it as flattery and just move on with your life, and it's not going to affect you. Now, the next person is actually a little bit more in line with my perspective here. She says, this is such a toxic mindset. Who cares? Genuinely, it's not your body. What mother-in-law chooses to do in no way affects you beyond what you allow it to. Shift your mindset here and don't give this any weight. I'll add that most people dye their hair after seeing someone with a color they like. It can take people years to actually decide to do something like that. And it's also reasonable to seek advice on what to dye or what products to use from people who use them. This is literally just human life and behavior. Granted, it's behavior from someone who's already annoying, who you don't like, so it grates a heck of a lot more. Don't make it something else or become toxic in response to a toxic person. Dye your hair whatever you want. Live your life. Mother-in-law only affects that as much as you allow, and you're giving her way too much space here. Now, what's actually quite funny about this comment is that there is nothing in the thread that implies, like nothing that OP says, that implies that she hates her mother-in-law, right? All she says is she just decided to start dyeing her hair color the same color that I use. And how dare she do that? Because it's my hair color. It's not. I'll skip a couple of comments here. This one says, I feel you on this one because my own mother started copying me with my hair. I used to straighten it every day and then finally decided to let my natural curl flourish. And my mom started doing the same shortly after and has never straightened her own hair since. Just try and take it as a compliment if you can. After all, imitation is the highest form of flattery, right? But it is annoying for sure. Now, this is also another comment that kind of is just a little bit irritating. Maybe your mother spent her whole life thinking, hey, curly hair is really ugly. And then she saw it on you and she was like, you know what? Actually, curly hair is kind of cool. Maybe my hair is getting damaged from straightening it all the time. I don't need to do that. And then she just decided to own it. And that's awesome. It's awesome that you had such a positive influence on your mother that when she saw you, she was like, this is great. I want to change my appearance to suit that. I feel a bit more comfortable in my own skin, right? You can take this kind of event in completely different ways, just based on the mindset that you attach to your head when you see it and how you want to respond to it. And deciding repeatedly to respond in this way with anger or with frustration or with jealousy or with envy or with resentment just brings you down, and then brings all the people around you down as well, because they can see that that's the kind of person you are. One person says, start wearing a hideous wig and say it's your new haircut. See if she gets the same. And that just shows you how childish and petty people are. This is already a childish and petty topic to even discuss. But the lesson is, just do your own thing and don't pay so much attention to what the people around you are doing. And if you do want to pay attention to what the people around you are doing, try to at least not take it in the worst possible way that you can take something.